Yo, what's up, ladies and gentlemen? How y'all doing? It's your boy Mike D, aka DDE80, aka 13 Wonder of the World, Mike DZ. Happy Tuesday to all of you all. I miss talking to y'all. I miss chatting with y'all, but I'm here. You know, the Lord blessed me to get back on here with y'all. So what's up with y'all, man? I hope y'all had a great weekend. I hope everything went great for y'all. I hope everything was good for y'all, man. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to the Point Place family. Shout out to Bobby Reese. Shout out to M Breezy. Shout out to Naya. Shout out to my sister. Shout out to all of you. And thank y'all for joining me on this Tuesday's Point of View. Man, I got a lot to talk about, man. I ain't gonna even lie to you. This has been a great time for not only the business of professional wrestling, but also in the game of sports as well. Man, there's been some great things going on, man. You know what I'm saying? A lot of good things happening around in the professional sports and wrestling business. Man, excuse me, I just dropped something, but don't worry about that, man. I'm trying to get to y'all as quick as fast as possible as I can, because I want y'all to know that I miss talking to y'all. It's been a little minute, but I'm back on the scene, you know what I'm saying? Back on the scene on a Tuesday. Need to be, you know what I'm saying? On here, conversating with y'all, enjoying y'all company. Just want y'all to just know that I'm here. I was supposed to came on yesterday, but my job had me kind of burnt out, so I wasn't able to do it. And before I decided to take that nap for a little while, I decided to come on the Point of View and talk to y'all. Mostly about wrestling, man. But before I get into the wrestling part, let me talk about the sports part. AD the other night against the T-Wolves, 27 points, 25 rebounds, 5 assists, and 5 steals. A record for the great AD. Shout out to AD for accomplishing that. The Lakers are riding high. The Lakers are winning games, folks. The only problem that I have with my boys is that we can't beat, the Denver Nuggets. That's the only problem we have right now. We can beat any team in the NBA. We beat the great Giannis and Damian Lillard. We have beaten Minnesota twice. We've beaten OKC. We've beaten, the teams that we're supposed to beat, except for the Denver Nuggets. Giannis, we've beaten him. Just can't get over Joker. And last night, the Denver Nuggets proved to everybody why they're still the best team in the NBA, why they're the defending champions. They were down like 19 points to Toronto and came back and beat them. And I had said it, I said, watch Denver come back and win this game. And that's exactly what happened. So they are a championship team, whether people like it or not. And I just want to say that, now the three-head monsters back together in Phoenix. The Suns are going to be looking out. Next month, I'm going to be talking about the NBA playoffs, because we're almost winding down to that. March Madness is about to start up, man. And I will be on here having my little bracket of my teams that I think that has a shot at winning the college championship, which is the NCAA championship. Not only that, let's talk about football a little bit. There's a lot of moves going on right now in free agency, but there's two that I want to talk about before I get to the wrestling. I want to talk about Kirk Cousins, who I thought was going to come to New England. He stiffed the Patriots to go to the Falcons, and the Falcons paid him for 4 years. So he has a 4-year deal with the Falcons. So that means that dude Ritter, he's going to be on the end of the bench. He's going to be backing up Kirk Cousins. Now, the Falcons now have a chance. Now, the Saints And the Buccaneers and the Falcons have now got to worry about Kirk Cousins. Because on any given Sunday, Kirk Cousins is a phenomenal player. And that's all I'm going to say about that. But congratulations to them. And also congratulations to Russell Wilson. He's probably going to be on a one and done in Pittsburgh. He's a Steeler now. He's with a better coach in Tomlin, because Tomlin's gonna be patient with him. Tomlin's not gonna be mad with him like Sean Payton was. I don't care what anybody says, and people can dislike what I'm about to say, but I'm gonna say this because I'm gonna speak from my mind on this situation, but I'm gonna say this. And people can believe this or not. Sean Payton ran Russell Wilson out of Denver. They knew that he was on a 2-year deal. They knew that they were not going to re-sign him. And that's why Sean Payton became their coach, because they knew that, hey, Russell Wilson was not going to be the guy for him. Now, if you go back to the drama of the season, I said this when we were talking about what was going on with Denver and Russell Wilson and Sean Payton. Sean Payton talked to Russell Wilson like he was a little 16-year-old boy. He never talked to Drew Brees like that in New Orleans. I will give him credit for one thing. He did help Drew Brees get an NFL championship. He helped the city of New Orleans. He coached the city of New Orleans to a championship 15 years ago. You know, and for you to sit there and talk crap about one of the greatest quarterbacks in the game, because let me tell y'all something. As a man of color, and this is no race thing here, what I'm about to say, but this is facts. Sean Payton, he tried to demoralize one of the best black quarterbacks in the game. And I don't care what anybody says, but Russell Wilson is in that photo and in that talk of being one of the best black quarterbacks in the game. Because there's only 3 of them to win Super Bowls. And that's the great Patrick Mahomes, the great Doug Williams, and Russell Wilson. Those are the only 3 black quarterbacks to win Super Bowls. Russell Wilson went to the Super Bowl twice. He won one and lost one. Because he lost the second one, he lost his second shot against the New England Patriots and Tom Brady. But he beat Peyton Manning to win his first Super Bowl. Who does that? Doug Williams beat the great John Elway to win his Super Bowl back in 1987, 86, when the Redskins at the time were the team to beat. Doug Williams beat, and he's from down here from Louisiana, Grambling. Shout out to Grambling. But he beat one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time in John Elway to win a championship. A great championship to win. But let's get back to Russell Wilson for a minute. Sean Payton ran him out of Denver. Who is their backup quarterback now? Who's the guy that's going to get them to, I forgot who, Drew Lock? Is Drew Lock their quarterback? I don't know. I can't remember who their backup quarterback is. But they benched Russell Wilson for this guy. Now you got Russell Wilson playing on 1-year deals that probably ain't worth like $5 or $6 million. He still paid because he got one of the finest women in the game in Sierra. That's his wife. And she always got him. She's going to always have her husband's back. But now they got to go from Denver to Pittsburgh. And they got to find a home in Pittsburgh for a season. Hopefully Russell Wilson get the Steelers somewhere so they can decide if they want to re-sign him or not. I think you re-sign him again after this season. I think it depends on what they do. If the Steelers go 10-6 and make it into the playoffs and get to the wild card and get out of the wild card to have a conference game, he's gonna be re-signed because they need that now. They're trying to recover from when Big Ben left the organization. You know, Pickett has been great, but he's been injured. You bring in Russell Wilson, Pickett's automatically on the bench. Do they start over? Who knows? But I say you go with him. I say you go with Russell Wilson as your number one quarterback. He is there to be their number one quarterback. He is not there to ride the end of the bench. That's not going to happen with Russell Wilson. Not in Pittsburgh. He's going to start. And that's just all to it. You know, and we'll talk about football more and more because the draft is about to come up. Major League Baseball is kicking off. And I'm telling you guys, it is so exciting to be a part of sports right now. As we see Major League Baseball hitting, like I said, we're riding out now. Here comes March Madness is about to come through on the scene. Another thing I want to talk about, speaking of March Madness, South Carolina versus LSU, I was very disappointed in how the way that game ended. Don't get me wrong. I wanted LSU girls to win because I'm down with Angel Reese and FloJo and all those girls and Kim Mook as their coach. But they went up against Dawn Staley, who's one of the greatest WNBA players. She's one of the greatest. Listen to what I'm about to tell you. Dawn Staley is, when it comes down to USA basketball, Dawn Staley is like Carmelo Anthony and Kevin Durant of that thing. You cannot tell me that she don't have no weight in that type of situation. Her name is legendary when it comes down to United States, women's basketball, when it comes to FIBA and the Olympics basketball. Dawn Staley is the girl. Not to say the girl, but the woman. And God has blessed her to where she has coached, college basketball, where she's won college titles as a coach. She didn't do it in the WNBA, but she was able to do it in USA basketball as well as women's college basketball. Shout out to Dawn Staley. And LSU didn't have enough to beat them. But you lose, go ahead on. I don't know what happened between FloJo and the girl from South Carolina, but they got into a fight from what I saw. They arrested FloJo's brother because he jumped over. When you're in the arena like that, fans are never supposed to go over to the bench of the players or on the floor. That's a no-no. That's like me watching a wrestling event and decide I want to get in the ring while the wrestlers are in there. You get escorted out of there, Unless they call you up there, you don't move. And that was a bad situation for FloJo and LSU and South Carolina. There's going to be some suspensions coming out because somebody did throw some punches or something. But it's sad that happened, and hopefully it don't deteriorate from what the people are trying to do and the teams are trying to do. And that's when, the the Women's College Basketball Championship. That's all I can say about that right now as I venture to professional wrestling. WWE Raw, and I know I was supposed to talk about AEW and all the other shows, and I didn't get a chance because I enjoyed the weekend. I enjoyed my weekend watching live wrestling, WWE, which was great in Alexandria, one of the times of my life. Before I get to that, before I get to it, before I get to the Raw results, I will talk about this. And let me say this. It's fun to watch wrestling on television, but it's funner to watch it live. Man, when Jey Uso came out there Saturday night in Alexandria, and when that song went, "Ooh, so it's just me, Oos," day one, I mean, the whole place was on fire for him. They were on place. They were on fire for Sami Zayn, for Bianca Belair. That was my first time ever seeing Bianca wrestle live. First time I ever seen Santos Escobar wrestle live. First time ever seeing who else was first time? Damage Control. Excuse me. They were performing live. First time ever seeing Cody Rhodes perform live. Gunther, man, they were booing the you know what out of him. Gunther, oh my God, they were booing him. Grayson Waller, they had a Grayson Waller effect in Alexandria. He talked this trash about Alexandria. Seth Rollins was like, "Alexandria, Louisiana, it's good to be back." Be back in, because Seth Rollins has always come to Alexandria and wrestled. Cody Rhodes, I think this is his first time being in Alexandria. I don't never recall Cody Rhodes wrestling in Alexandria. Maybe before the times that I've watched, wrestling in Alexandria. But I'm telling you, it was a great event, folks. It was great. It was a great event. I was actually having a conversation with the WWE camera crew. They were having conversations with me throughout the whole night. Man, the way that where we were sitting at, we could see the ring that close to the ring. We were not that far away from the ring, folks. And that's the way to be. And the tickets were cheap. When AEW came to Shreveport, there was one side of the arena that had people. The other side, nothing. But when you go to a WWE live event, this place, it wasn't packed full house or sold out or nothing like that, but it had so many people there. LA Knight was there. Yeah. Let me talk to you. Alexandra, let me talk to you. Yeah. It was great. It was great to have that adventure, man. I mean, I thank God that he allowed me. I've seen 2 wrestling events already this year. I don't know if WWE's coming back this year. They usually do. They usually don't, excuse me. You probably won't see them again until 2024. I'm hoping that they can come because they have not been to Shreveport this year. They came to Alexandria and they haven't came to Shreveport. I think they will be at in Shreveport sometime before the year is over. Because when they do their loops, they'll usually go to Alexandria and then they'll go to Lafayette and then, ride into Texas. When they do their Shreveport loop, they'll usually do Shreveport. Now they're doing Monroe and then they'll go to Texas. I'm hoping that they can come to Shreveport this year because I want to see just how interesting it will be for them to come back to the state of Louisiana. I know they love Lafayette. A lot of people say that they don't like being in Lafayette, and they don't even call it Lafayette. They call it Cajun Dome, which I think they need to get rid of that, because Lafayette is a state. It is, the flats. So we need to respect the city of Lafayette. Shout out to Lafayette, Louisiana. Go there a lot. A lot. That's Red Bone City. For those of you that don't know, Red Bone, Yellow Bone City. And I'm just saying that because I am a man. But anyway, that was a great event for me watching and seeing wrestling live. So it kind of took me back a little bit. Also, go get WWE 2K24. It's out on PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, Xbox S, Xbox One, all of the games. Man, I'm telling you, this year's My Ride story is a very good My Ride story, man. Both men and women's side as well. It's a great thing. The men's side is about beating Roman Reigns' Universal Championship run. How long can you be the Universal? Can you break his record of being the Universal Champion? The girls one is about this girl coming from out of the mud, we call it, to being a part of WWE, which is a great story, because there's some aspiring wrestlers that are trying to pattern themselves just like on the game, even though it's crazy at times. But the moral of the story is what it is, folks. And with that being said, let me segue to Monday Night Raw's results. Houston, Texas. Travis Scott was in the building. A couple more guys that were in the building promoting their show on Peacock. Ladies and gentlemen, Monday Night Raw, it hit last night. It absolutely positively hit because of the things that they were doing on there. It was great for business. Becky Lynch, Liv Morgan had a great match until, Becky Lynch pinned Liv Morgan. I don't know where you go with Liv Morgan now. I think what they need to do is they need to have some number one contender matches with all these other girls, all these other women, and whoever wins, they become the number one contenders at WrestleMania for either the Raw title or the SmackDown title. It's that plain simple. So we'll see what it is. And now, where does she go? What's next for Liv? Do you make it a triple threat match? Could be. I doubt it, but it could be. Or Liv is next in line to get a shot at the titles. So we'll see what happens with the story going forward with Liv Morgan. Man, Judgment Day. Screwed. In my book, they're screwed. In a 6-pack challenge for the tag team titles, and it's a ladder match. Don't get me wrong, man. Finn Balor and them, they're going to have a great match. But I still think that it's going to be Miz and Truth winning the tag team titles. And that's when you need to just split those belts up and have 2 sets of titles again. It'll be better for business. Jey Uso against Jimmy will happen at WrestleMania. Cody Rhodes was on there talking, and Cody started getting emotional about, his match at WrestleMania against Roman Reigns. Of course, the tag match with him and Seth against Rock and Roman night 1. Very interesting to see how that goes. Seth Rollins and Drew McIntyre. Drew McIntyre is right. about what he's saying. Seth Rollins needs to be focused more on his title match with him instead of worrying about, Rock and Roman. And exactly that's what's happening here. But it's a great showcase match. That's why they're doing it, because it's a great showcase match, not to let Rock go one-on-one with anybody yet. Because I don't think he's in the shape to have a one-on-one match just yet. I think he's he could be in a tag match where he does not have to take too many licks and things like that. Very smart by WWE anyway, putting him in a tag match instead of putting him in a one-on-one match off the fly. Or you could put him in a match and he wins in 7 or 8 seconds or a short 8-minute match, something like that. But they were very smart with that. That's why they're not doing it like that. Very smart by WWE to do it like that anyway. So you see, Judgment Day complaining about that, but they're going to have the match anyway. Damian Priest beat R-Truth in the match. We see now that, Zoe Stark and Shayna Baszler could have won the tag team titles last night, the women tag team titles, but right now it's about Damage Control. Damage Control is, what's hot with the business right now. And that's why they're keeping the tag belts on them, because when Io Sky loses, slowly but surely, Asuka and Carly Sane's gonna lose. And they're gonna lose to a team, either they've beaten already or a new team that's gonna come out the woodworks. And here's the other thing. Maxine Dupree is getting bullied by Candice LeRae. Wow, this is ridiculous. This is a storyline to make Maxine look bad, because they talked about Maxine Dupree, talking about her skills are not up to par and all that there. Let the girl get in there and continue doing what she does. When she do what she does, and when she starts getting the hang of it, then say, well, she's experienced now, she shouldn't be acting like that. She should not be, but give her some time, folks. And Candice LeRae is just going off of what people are saying about her. But it was very sad to see that happen to Maxine Dupree on Raw last night. And I know it's part story, but it's also part reality, because somebody did talk about her like that on social media, and they were wrong for what they said about her and things like that. And, I hope that Maxine Dupree does get her skills back together, get herself together, so that she can once again be, happy and good at what she does in the ring. Also, ladies and gentlemen, the 6-pack challenge was great. All the matches they had. Sami Zayn, third. Sami Zayn, and I called this a couple of weeks ago, me and Fadeaway, shout out to Fadeaway, because that's my right-hand man when it comes down to this wrestling. He said this, I told him, I say, man, there's only one person that I think that could beat Gunther, and that's Sami Zayn. Now, let me break this down to everybody. In the end, it was Sami Zayn versus Chad Gable. Chad Gable had Sami beat, but Sami was just too smart for him. He outsmarted him. I feel sorry for two people that was in this gauntlet. I don't feel sorry for Ricochet, because I know Ricochet could bounce back and he could do other things in WWE. I know that they can do that with Ricochet. I know that JD Madonna's going to be fine because he's with the Judgment Day. I felt bad for Bronson Reed, because Bronson Reed had a chance to go to WrestleMania. He did not wrestle at the Elimination Chamber in Australia. So now he's not in a match at WrestleMania. Then you look at this other situation. Chad Gable who wants to become a Intercontinental Champion. You guys got to remember, Chad Gable has only been a tag team champion. He's never won a singles title in WWE, just like Jey Uso has never, or Jimmy has not never won a singles title, as well as Xavier Woods, because he's in the mix as well. I think this is what they should do. If Chad Gable gets the support like Cody did when they took the WrestleMania match from him, when they wanted to make it Rock versus Roman at WrestleMania and put him for the World Heavyweight title, this is what they should do with Chad Gable. This is just my opinion. If I was a general manager, if I was a booker in WWE, this is what I would do. I would make it a triple threat match where it'd be Sami Zayn versus Chad Gable versus Gunther. And here's why. Because one of those two can cancel each other out. And if you're going to take the Intercontinental title off of Gunther, you do just what you did to Kurt Angle over 24 years ago. And here's the thing. If you guys remember, Kurt Angle was the European champion. He had beat Val Venus, and he won the Intercontinental title from Chris Jericho. Now, at first, it was just going to be, I think it was just going to be Jericho versus Kurt Angle. But then they put Benoit, that guy, in the match. So what happened when this happened? Kurt Angle did not get pinned and he lost. This has happened in a lot of triple threat matches at WrestleMania. This happened to Kurt Angle more than once. Kurt Angle lost the World Heavyweight title at WrestleMania 2006 was it Chicago? I think they were in Chicago when Rey Mysterio pinned Randy Orton to become the champion. He didn't pin Kurt Angle, and Kurt Angle was the champion. The same thing happened to him at WrestleMania 2000. He had both belts, and what happened was 2 falls. They had 2 falls in that match, and Benoit became the Intercontinental Champion, and Jericho became the European Champion, and Kurt Angle was without no title. I think you should do that with Gunther to protect his undefeated streak. He would have lost the match, but he didn't get pinned, which still makes me think that he's a loser. Because I say if you lose, you lose. That's just it. It don't matter if you get pinned or not. You lose, you lose. Now let's go back to another scenario here why I say this. And I'll tell you exactly why I'm saying this. Because people need to understand this about the business. Gunther, if he loses the Intercontinental title, he's not going to be a sad solid wop about it. You know what he's going to do? He is going to be more vicious. He's going to be more determined. He's going to be very, 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 very more focused and become a main event star. My book, if LA Knight does not win the United States title at WrestleMania, or he's not in a title match and he doesn't win, here's what you do. Either him or Gunther wins Money in the Bank. And I want to say something here because I want people to understand what I'm saying, and then I'll yield on the point of view. Man, I'm telling you, this is what I'm saying right here. I want people to understand why I'm saying this. WWE needs to go back to having both ladder matches at the pay-per-views, at the Money in the Bank. I know they don't want to have all 4 of them, but I think it's good for that. Because here's why I say that. You have 6 competitors fighting for each brand's briefcase. You have your SmackDown women fighting for the SmackDown briefcase. You have your Raw women fighting for the Raw briefcase. You have the men fight for the World Heavyweight title briefcase and the Undisputed title. Therefore, keep everybody's open to where you have the champions always looking over their shoulders. That would be a smart way to make moves, but I don't think it's going to be, because they don't want to do that like that. I think that's a problem that probably puts more hurt on your wrestlers. But who am I to say? I'm not a promoter. I'm just a guy that watches wrestling, but knows the business, knows a lot about it, knows who's going to win, who's not going to win, how they're trying to market that person and things like that. Yes, they pull fast ones over on me at times. They shock me as well as anybody else. But the majority of the time, I be knowing what's up. Like I told everybody, I knew Sammy was going to win because they were building it up for Sammy to win. And Sami Zayn won. Now, do you add Chad Gable to that match? Could possibly. Do I think it's best for business if they do add Chad Gable? Yes. I don't know. But WrestleMania is right around the corner. But anyway, with that being said, tonight is NXT. I am going to try to have a recap for you guys tomorrow, as well as the preview of AEW. We're going to see what happens now, because tomorrow is big business in Boston. Do we see Sasha Banks come to AEW tomorrow night? There's a big possibility that could happen. You know, we don't know yet. Hopefully, if they make the market and they make the propaganda and all this stuff that they're doing and want people to watch it, bring Sasha Banks in. It's just that plain simple. If you want to knock the ratings out of the chair for that Wednesday, you bring Mercedes Moné, a.k.a. Sasha Banks, to AEW and see what happens. See how Tony Storm and all these people start getting shook when they see Sasha Banks in AEW. That plain simple. I'm just telling you. I'm telling you guys what could possibly happen in this business we call wrestling. Also, ladies and gentlemen, I have a lot of special podcasts I'm doing. I've got 2 on the Richter scale that I want to get done. I want to do the one on the retired man called Sting. I still haven't forgotten about the special one I'm going to have for B.Ray. That's coming down the pike. I don't know when I'm going to do it, but I want to make sure I got all my ducks in the row when I do it. But as far as the wrestling podcast is, I got one I'm going to be doing on my favorite, my top of the Intercontinental Champions, as well as my favorite Intercontinental title matches. One I want to do on the Tribal Chief, Roman Reigns, his greatest matches as well. And this is while he's big dog and all that stuff. So, we're here to have a little fun on the point of view. Thank y'all for listening to me on YouTube as well as Spotify. I'm just here trying to make it. I thank God for the blessings. Thank God for you people listening. Thank God for the ones that support me. Until then, God bless you. God keep you. Enjoy the NBA tonight. Enjoy NCAA basketball. Enjoy hockey, Major League Baseball, women's basketball, and of course, NXT. Until then, God bless you. God keep you.